The painting that we've chosen to conserve for this exhibition is a 17th century Dutch seascape. It came into the museum quite dark. It has been in the collection for many, many years, and the varnish has continued to darken on it. Neither the frame nor any information on the back or any of the cataloging information that came with it tells us anything of significance.
The philosophy of conservation today is that everything that we use is readily removable without harm to the original painting. This wasn't always the case. Sometimes artists have used oil paint to in-paint areas of loss to a painting, and they become very close in solubility to that of the original painting, making them very difficult to remove. The tools that we use are dependent upon what's wrong with the painting. When we're cleaning, we make our own swabs using cotton wool and sticks. We use ultraviolet light to examine the type of varnish that's been used on the painting. We use brushes. We use dry pigments that we grind in a polyvinyl acetate resin.
It's a collaborative process with a conservator. We meet together and we talk about the painting from different perspectives. The conservator is largely a scientist. I will be looking at the painting from the perspective of style, technique, and subject matter. I talk to the conservator about how that style might have been created and how that technique might have been brought out in terms of the brush strokes and the types of paint that were used and the layering of the varnish. It looks different than it did when it was first created by the artist. And so one of the major expectations or hopes that we have from a good conservation process is that in the end it will look a lot more like the artist had intended it to look.
When a painting is discolored due to varnish or a thick layer of surface dirt, you can't appreciate the tonalities that the artist has intended. Oftentimes the painting will look desaturated and dull, and it puts the painting on a much more two-dimensional plane than the artist necessarily intended. So when you clean it by removing the surface dirt and when you remove the varnish, you can see a lot more depth within the painting that the artist was intending to create. You can see what you thought was a very cloudy painting become very bright blue sky. Sometimes it's just amazing. It does help to have a little bit of artistic talent so that you can recreate areas of loss, for example. A lot of what we do is very technical. I would say that you don't have to be a great artist, but it helps to have a little bit of skill. We can sometimes confirm a particular artist or date if we find a signature in the painting, and usually clients are very excited when we can do that. Not always. Sometimes it's still undetermined by the time the painting is finished, the conservation process.